if everyone out online, if something happens, call
I'm gonna tell you right now, there probably is somebody out there.
shut up. It's not funny. I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of New Reader, Old Reader.
Hey guys.
Today, I am Omar, your host, and with me is Amanda. Say
Hey
hi, Amanda.
guys, how's it going?
And my other lovely co-host, Maddie.
Hi.
Good waves. All right. So today we are going to be talking about the ever classic Batman Year One. This discussion is going to be also a little bit full of spoilers, so just as a heads up. And this, it's called Old Reader, New Reader, because have been reading comic books for 35 years, and these two lovely ladies have been reading comic books, maybe added together the 1 year, would you say? Together?
Yeah.
1 year?
Maybe like a year and several
Maybe
months.
a little bit more. Yeah, I think so. Right.
A year and
It's been
several
about a year
months.
for me. It's probably my year anniversary for comics right now.
Oh, well, good. Now, this is one of those comic books that I always say I'm so jealous of people that are reading it for the first time. So I'm always interested to see what people think about this particular comic book, because Batman Year One is not only just held as one of the greatest Batman comics of all time, it is probably held as one of the greatest comic books of all time. So this is going to be an interesting topic. I'm curious to see what you two that have read it for the first time just this week think about it. So, on that note, who wants to go first?
I'll go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, Maddie, you're on.
I really liked it. I thought it was really good. I've been reading a little bit of Batman these past few months, mostly like Rebirth stuff and then Batman adjacent stuff for New 52 because I haven't read his stuff yet. But going to this was really cool, and I liked that it was just that setup to him becoming Batman and kind of seeing him, come back to Gotham. And I love seeing how much he played up that Playboy persona, and I always love when they show that part of Batman where it's like, because Bruce Wayne is Batman, that's his real self, and then I always like seeing the Bruce Wayne part, which is his.
That's his alter ego.
Yeah. And I loved all the bits about Commissioner Gordon too. We get to see him a lot, but to see his sort of origin story with Gotham was really, really neat. And, to see a different side of him too, because there's some things that we'll probably talk about where, is kind of hoeing around. And I didn't expect to see that. I was like, man, it was really cool. A lot of good just like Gotham centric moments, which I really like seeing. And of course, my girl Selena Kyle's in it, so I was happy.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to say, I thought it was really interesting. It was different from anything we've read so far, which I liked. Especially the artwork and the way the story presents itself. And I was also surprised by how Jim Gordon focused a lot of it was too. And I thought that was interesting, not only seeing Batman's journey through Batman's eyes, but a lot of the times we're seeing it through Jim Gordon's eyes and seeing Gotham through his eyes too. So I really liked that, because I think Jim Gordon's a great character. He was in all the movies. So I like to see him here too. But when I read it, I think I told Omar, I was like, there's really no good way you could ever make Batman funny. This is a very no way. There's no balls about it. It's just a very dark noir type of character, Gotham itself, and I like the way the drawings, the artwork, and Frank Miller presented that. So that's my take on it.
That's good. I'm glad both of you liked it, I guess. So yes, Gotham is very timeless, and I believe, okay, so before I get to talk about this a little bit, Batman Year One, the way that it started was Crisis on Infinite Earths that just happened, right? So we had a Batman that was very campy running around. We had several Batman running around. Crisis on Infinite Earths happened, and no more. Everything started over from scratch. So they needed a new beginning. Now, prior to this, a year before this came out in 1986, Frank Miller had written Batman Dark Knight Returns, which is kind of like the last Batman story. It's known as probably the Omega of the Batman stories because it's an old Batman coming back and putting on the cowl, if you will, and fighting crime again. So they were like, okay, we need a writer to retell the origin of Batman, but not retell it. It's like, let's keep it the same, but modernize it a little bit. And I thought Frank Miller. Okay, so it was cool because then they were like, well, let's get Frank Miller to do it. And he totally did. However, he did not want to draw it. He wanted to focus on his writing. So he got the help of, God, I'm going to butcher his name, David Mazzucchelli, who also did. I know nothing about this guy's art other than this and Born Again, Daredevil Born Again. He is, but I love his artwork because I remember as a kid I thought Frank Miller drew this. Like I lost a bet with a friend of mine in 1988 saying, "Bullshit, Frank Miller drew Batman Year One. You're an idiot." Yeah. Sorry, Brian Martin, if you're watching one day. You were right. You were right. It was not Frank Miller. But I thought it was really cool that they got him to do it, and he retold the origin, but he kept everything. It was like he kept his parents dying during the Mask of Zorro movie. He kept the relationship of him and Gordon. Now, he added new characters to the Batman mythos. He added the mobs, like the mobsters, like the Falcone family, the Roman. He added the Commissioner Loeb. He added the character of Sarah Essen, who after this was kind of done away with for a while until the editors, I want to say it was Archie Goodwin, wanted to bring her back to reestablish her as Commissioner Gordon's lady now. Because, well, we'll get to that in a minute. So you two are absolutely right. There's so much going on in this. This is not, and keep in mind this is only 4 issues too. It's not just a Batman story. It is a Batman / Commissioner Gordon story, and how the two became BFFs. I can't believe I just said that about Batman.
But it did happen.
Commissioner Gordon. But that's kind of the way it happened.
And it's recorded now.
Yeah. Damn it. So it's really cool because, we don't have every story about Batman that you read. He is a complete badass and he knows what he's doing, right? Like he is always in control. He is 3 moves ahead of the game. But in this, you get to see like an early Batman, a young Batman come back when he's 25 years old, come back into Gotham. And like, I love the scene where I'm going to find it here in the 2nd issue where he is fighting the thugs. And like they take a TV and beat him over the head with it. It's something that you would not see.
He's holding
Batman.
that guy at the same time. He was like, well, I don't want to kill him. And
if I let go of this guy, he's going to die. So he's going to have to go limp on me. And, he knocks out one guy. He gets his legs hurt. So I thought that was really cool. Like, I've never seen Batman vulnerable. And as a kid, I'm like, holy shit, this is what... I remember thinking as a kid, I could be Batman. All I got to do is train really hard. And this is the first story that I ever thought that, because before then it was impossible to be Batman because he was almost like what the cops talk about here. A guy that's from out of this world. He has wings. He can fly. It's not just gimmicks. It's all these things. And I thought that was wonderful that he humanized the character so much that as a kid, I'm like, oh, dude, if I train really hard for like, how long was he gone? 8 years or so? No, 12 years? I could be Batman. I came very close, but I got a Nightwing outfit out of it. So yes, Batman.
I also like that he was like, I mean, they established from the get-go that they didn't want to kill anyone. You have other heroes that realize that after the fact. Usually kind of a guilt sort of thing. And he was like, no, I don't want to kill this guy, like right away.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Made a conscious effort of it too. You can't say that for everyone. Usually there's like some sort of code inflicted on them for their power, or it's like if they kill somebody, then they lose it, or they can't, like Green Lanterns, I guess, sometimes. And I don't know, that was cool.
There are so many memorable moments in this going back and rereading it. I thought it was awesome. Like the dinner, like the mobster's dinner.
Yes.
When he comes in and it's in issue 2. Like in the 2nd issue, he comes in and throws a smoke bomb in there and he's like, you motherfuckers have filled up on Gotham.
Yep.
Your dinner time is over. And, they're like, oh, this fucking giant guy dressed like a bat. What the hell? So then, he becomes like enemy number one. Like the cops are against him. And that was really cool. That transition of him going, man, I'm going to get killed out here. Oh, I got it. I'm just going to be friends with Commissioner Gordon. That's how we'll figure this out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, also him learning how to use fear too, and like making that a priority. It's like, well, these people aren't scared of me. They need to be scared of me. If I don't have the ability yet, and I've got to train, I've got to be better. At the very least, they need to be scared. That'll make it easier. Because no one takes me seriously.
I thought that was a really cool scene too. Like right after after he gets mugged in the car accident and all that, and he has the flashback. This flashback right here of his parents once again leaving the Mask of Zorro. I thought that was really cool the way he's talking to his father. He's like, how do I frighten them, father? What do I do? And of course, this giant bat flies in out of nowhere because the story was always like he saw a bat crawling when he was a kid in the caves, crawling under the mansion. Because he says that too. There's a giant cave under this mansion. I could use that.
Yeah.
How convenient.
How convenient.
That's a hideout. Brilliant. Oh, yeah, there's so many awesome moments. So that's one of my favorite moments in this. What about you two, ladies? What were some of your favorite moments in this book?
I think one of my favorites is in the third one, where they're in that warehouse or the abandoned building where as all the winos are, and he's fighting the Brandon SWAT team. And just when Selena Kyle's there with her Siamese cat, and then you have the bats, like that one page when the bats come flying out at everyone, I just really liked that. I thought that was awesome. I think that was a really great way of showing how, Batman used that fear used fear and used his tactics to get these guys afraid of him. He was smarter than they were, basically. I mean, when it came down to it, I like that scene.
So,
I think. Sorry. Good.
No, go ahead, Maddie.
It's really hard to choose like a favorite moment, but there are definitely some really great just character moments in general.
I was just going to show the scene that Amanda was talking about on the scene, which also they decided to feature in the Dark Knight, or not the Dark Knight, but Batman Begins, because it's such a awesome scene where he summons the bats. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when the SWAT is out there and they're trying to. I love that cover too, of like the SWAT team just going out to get him.
It was unexpected. I thought that was awesome.
And then
and a call back.
He calls these bats because of course he carries a bat whistle in his boot.
Yeah.
And these bats come in and they take care of business.
Does he ever do anything like that again? Does that happen again in the comics?
Honestly, I can't remember. I just remember
modern-day Batman just have a little whistle or something.
I guess most people.
Cool.
Well, I think most people would probably see that as a cheap like trick, right? They're like, "Oh, Frank Miller's already done that. No thanks."
Oh, whatever.
Everybody wants something new from Batman, and I guess it's kind of hard to top things like this.
Yeah. Oh, I think it'd be cool to use again.
I'm sorry, Maddie. Go ahead. What was your favorite moment?
So it's hard to choose, really, but I really I love all the Commissioner Gordon moments. Like, I know he's not Commissioner yet, but that's just how I talk about him. Just the way he gets back at that guy, like when he just comes at him with a bat. Like,
oh yeah,
Gordon. He's like, no, I know how to deal with fools like this. Yeah, you think you're gonna get me? I got another thing coming for you, son. It's like, man, you're so cool.
He was so badass. He was like,
yes, like
because it tricks you, right? He's like, oh, he's a Green Beret. Shit, I better, give him a handicap or something. And he hands him the bat, and he's like, fucking dukes up, man. I'm like, oh my god.
Man, he's so cool. He looks like a nerd because he's got the glasses and he's just
the mustache,
very intimidating, right? But he's so cool.
Yes,
clearly,
Commissioner
he has a history.
Gordon is very cool. So cool. He had like an underage chick hitting on him. Yeah, that's right. Talking about hotness right there, Sarah.
Man.
Who is probably modeled after some kind of like. I wish I knew, because I know that Batman was, I believe, a young Gregory Peck is what he was modeled after.
I can see that.
Bruce Wayne, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she is some kind of like not silver screen, but movie star from the 30s and 40s, but just that look to her. But yeah, they have this moment of weakness where they both make out and he feels guilty and there's pictures. So that's how Commissioner Loeb wants to take him out. He's like, "Oh, you're such a goody goody, Gordon, but I'm going to let everybody know you're a little weak ass bitch making out with this girl that's not your wife." So yeah, he tries to blackmail him. So
yeah,
the way that Gordon plays it out, he's like, "Well, I'm just going to tell my wife." There.
Pulls a Hamilton.
Yes, he did. He's like, I'm gonna be honest with him.
All right, fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I love
No.
I love the little cameo with Catwoman and Holly too. You have Selena there, and then you have a really young Holly who, unfortunately, Holly Robinson is one of those characters that they just don't use enough anymore. Hell, at one time, right after Infinite Crisis, during the 1 year later thing, she took up the mantle of Catwoman for about a year. So I thought that was really cool because they retired Selena for a while after the whole Black Mask ordeal. And
because I didn't think I'd seen her before this.
No, this is her first appearance.
I haven't read a bunch of Catwoman. I mean, I'm slowly reading stuff, but I hadn't seen her, so I didn't know who that was. And then someone mentioned that she might be in Catwoman's bridal party coming up, and I was like, oh. So it's good we read this because I didn't know who that was.
The Clarknado must have one of the best comments I've heard so far. He said, "I'd go on a Gordon's mustache ride."
That's right.
He is a pretty hot dude. Apparently, the way that Tim Sell draws him in Batman Long Halloween, he's modeled after Archie Goodwin, which was the editor-in-chief of DC at the time. He was the one that was hiring all this stuff, all the new talent and stuff. But yeah, I love how Gordon connects with him. Like he out of everybody, he thinks he's a good guy. He's like, he keeps thinking about it. No, he's a vigilante, but he did save that old lady from getting killed, ran over, and then and then eventually he ends up saving his baby. And I love this scene because you're like, oh shit, he's gonna find out he's Bruce Wayne. And he's like, I'm practically blind without my glasses, right?
Yep.
And you're like, oh shit, no, he's not. That's awesome.
Such a bro. But he does that a lot too. Like Commissioner Gordon is definitely that type of dude because like he does stuff like that again later in other series.
I think in one of my favorite moments with him was in No Man's Land, right? When Bruce Wayne and Batman left, like they left the city because they gave up on Gotham, and then without giving too much away of No Man's Land, he eventually comes back, of course, to Gotham, and he owes Jim an apology because Jim was like, "You fucking left us," and he takes off his mask, and Commissioner Gordon closes his eyes, and he's like, "You put that fucking mask back on. You don't get to do that." And I'm like, "Oh man, that's badass." But I love the fact that like he figures out that it's actually Bruce Wayne, right? Like throughout the story, you're like, he's a detective. Of course he does.
He's a smart detective.
And I love the way it ends. I mean, it sets up the whole Harvey Dent Falcone thing, which
yes,
in this book came out 31 years ago. And it ends with, of course, the cliffhanger of the Joker. Some guy named the Joker. Kind of like the way that Batman Begins ended. And Batman Begins borrows heavily from this.
I could tell, yeah.
So, 31 years ago, this book came out. And it is the only, that I can think of at least, still origin of Batman, or origin of a superhero that is still canon. That is still in continuity. Because Year 2 was retconned. Year 2 was retconned by Long Halloween. Year 3 was retconned by Dark Victory. So all these stories have been retconned except for this. I mean, and including Superman, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much Flash, I don't think, or Green Lantern. But he is one of the. I mean, for a story that's 31 years, is still part of continuity. I thought this was great. That it's still there. I can see why people think it's the perfect comic book, the way that it's drawn. It's a masterpiece almost. Like just the sequential art and the way that this guy, it feels like a movie.
That's what I thought too. It's very cinematic. Just the way the narrative runs. That's one of the things that I just kept going back to. That's why I kept thinking, did they bar a lot for the movies because this seems like it could just be made. This could be a movie, even though it's four issues. That could very well be a movie. The timeline, everything about it, to me.
I think it was very cool. You brought up the fact, you asked if this was a timepiece when we were
Yes,
talking.
I did. If it was a period piece,
Or
yeah,
a period piece. I think that's just the way Gotham is. It's very timeless almost.
yeah,
That it doesn't age. Because if you look at Batman the animated series, that was always one of my questions from friends that don't watch, or I'm sorry, that didn't read the comic books. They were like, where the hell is Gotham and when the hell does Batman take place? Because I feel like the cars are in the 50s, but he's got all these gadgets from the future. And that was
yeah,
always the cool thing about Gotham. Gotham never felt like Metropolis. It is a fucking cesspool of mobsters and like
Mm-hmm.
thugs and just
greedy underworld. Yeah,
villains. Um,
a
it,
lot of moral ambiguity.
yes, and I love the color tones that they use on his art. Now this has been recolored, but the original colors were very monotone like this. They weren't vibrant and fleshed out. They were wonderful and look very much like this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Clark Nato, year 2 does not need to be retconned because year 2 is wonderful. I know I'm the only idiot that loves that story, but God, I love the Reaper. I love the fact that he meets up with his parents' murderer. I think year 2 is wonderful. I hated the fact that they retconned it, but whatever. Long Halloween's amazing. I do agree with that.
Clark asked how far apart in age are Gordon and Bruce Wayne.
Well,
Uh,
I
Bruce
assume.
Wayne's usually he's supposed to always be 34, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I
But
think
in
so.
year 1 he must be younger.
In year 1, he's
He's
25.
Oh, okay.
25.
He's
Because
25.
he says at the beginning, like he's a 25-year-old return to Gotham. Like at the very, I think the
Oh,
very
That's
first.
right. You're right. I think
They-
one of like a news report or something
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
talking
like the
about
news
the
report
air.
talking about
Yeah.
welcome back home, Mister 25-year-old heir to the Wayne millions.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
Gordon always looks older because of the mustache.
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean,
Mustache
if you
thing.
read New 52, as soon as he shaves it and he puts on a little muscle, you're like, holy shit, he's Batman. No spoilers, but if you read the New 52 run of Batman, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, and I forgot about Flash too. He introduced the character of Flash, who
That guy.
later on, I think, actually, he shows up in Dark Victory. Yeah, so a lot of characters that were just in like 2 or 3 pages in this, like Jeff Loeb fell in love with, and he was like, "No, we need to go back to those days of mobsters." So his stories, like The Haunted Night, Long Halloween,
Mhm.
and Dark Victory, they all take place during that time, during the second year of Batman, to kind of take care of these characters that are never talked about again.
Mm-hmm.
And Flash, Flash is in Dark Victory, and the Falcons are in Long Halloween and in Dark Victory.
Yeah.
And I love, and even Catwoman too. So it's very cool, and it's actually written in a very similar style to this. So that's I don't think I could. I think for this, this to me is the definitive starting point for somebody that has not read Batman. I think jumping in with this is, I mean, this is an origin. This is the origin of origins to me.
Yeah.
I don't think it gets better than starting with this. I mean, but I'm one of those guys, I think anybody can start reading comics wherever. You can start reading comic books in the middle of a fucking crossover, as long as you enjoy it. And if you get lost, now you have Wikipedia. Before, you just had to go to comic book stores to get the rest of the
Yeah.
story. But now you can just hang out on the internet and figure out
It's true.
what's what. But I think, to me, this is the definitive starting point for Batman. And I think it's the best way to get somebody to read Batman, because it feels like it hasn't aged. Even though the story is 31 years old, it still
Yeah.
feels like it was written yesterday, and the way it was drawn and colored, it literally could have come out yesterday. So,
Yeah, I agree for sure. Because I feel like a lot of things during that time period they're too dialogue heavy or can be too busy. It isn't really easy to read for people that are used to reading comics right now. And
Yeah.
I didn't feel that way at all with this. This read so smooth. It was great.
smooth. That's the way to put it. Yes.
Yeah. I agree.
Clark Nado's asking if this is the original or recolor version. This is the recolor version, Clark Nado, the one that I have here.
Yep.
But you can hardly tell. It's not recolored like with like computer separated colors, because I mean the original. I don't know if you can tell. Like that's kind of the original colors here, and I thought the original colors were awesome, but they just tightened them up some for this collection. Now this is available in all kinds of formats. This is a deluxe hardcover. There's trade paperbacks. There's an absolute edition, which you're insane if you want to pay. I think $100 for 4 issues. But hey, that more power to you. That's
Wow.
awesome. I mean, I love the art, but that's just crazy to pay that much for something like this.
Yeah.
It's one of those books that it's evergreen. That means it never goes out of print. It's because it's it's like Watchmen. It's up there as Homer, the Iliad, the Odyssey. It's up there amongst classic literature for comic books.
Yeah.
It's taught in classrooms. I think actually that's what the artist did. He went on to teach art. Like David Mazzucchelli went on to teach art.
Wow.
Like a college professor, like a professional. Yeah. So I know that it's studied. It's really cool. I was very excited to talk about that book. And I'm curious what would you two recommend it, or would you recommend another Batman story to a new reader?
Well, I've never read another Batman story, so I couldn't tell you if I would recommend another Batman story to a reader.
Fair
Um,
enough.
but see, to me, this seems like you said if this seems like the origin story of Batman, and everything that I've ever seen, it's always been this story, right? Very similar, like how it all started. So to me, it would make sense to start here. I don't know what came before it, obviously. So I don't know if it changed whatever his origin story was before the 80s.
I mean, they didn't really change it. He just added to it,
Just added
and
to it,
and
yeah.
and I don't want to even say modernized it. He just made it badass, and he made the character more approachable and more relatable. Like
Yeah.
both Gordon and Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne has weaknesses because he's a human being. He fucking took a TV to the back of the neck, and he's like, "Ouch!"
Yeah. It's
Whereas
not
most of
Clark
the
Kent,
times,
yeah.
he's like, "Batman, I'm fucking Batman. Get that fucking TV off of me." And then Gordon has weaknesses with the opposite sex. Like,
Clearly.
it's not perfect. Characters are not black and white. There's that gray, and I thought that was a beautiful way to introduce it to comic book readers at the time.
I think that's the reason why Gordon could almost identify with Batman, that he is a good guy because he has his own flaws. Clearly, from what he came from, the reason why he ended up in Gotham in the first place, something had happened. Um, and then obviously his extramarital affairs. So he has his demons too, but he's still a good guy, right? I mean, he wants to do justice in Gotham, whereas everyone else is out for the cash and for paybacks and stuff. At least the other cops are. So I think that's partly why he feels like he could trust Batman to a point, even though he was, everyone else is saying that he's a menace to society.
Thank you, Ray. Ray also enjoyed Year Two. I think you think I knew there was another sane person. I just happen to love Year Two. I know he gets a lot of hate, but I think it was great. I thought it was awesome. Um, so Philip Evans said Year One, then Long Halloween, then Dark Victory. And I think that's a great start. That's where I would actually recommend people going to those right after this, because that's still you're still in that time period where Bruce Wayne is still Batman at an early stage in his life, and
It's your kitty.
Sorry. Robin can't help it. She's say hi. Okay, now go away. No. Sorry.
My cat's passed out over there. He doesn't have time for this.
he doesn't have time for this bullshit. Oh,
Yeah.
chat.
And my dogs, they're all laid out. I think they're waiting to go outside. I don't know.
Okay, so now that we're done talking, Maddie, I heard Amanda's opinion. What about you? What do you think? Would you recommend this as the? Because there's also Batman Earth One, written by Jeff Johns, which shows another side of another take on the vulnerable Bruce Wayne too. But I think what about you? What do you think as far as introducing somebody to the character Batman? As far as like if they want to know more about his beginnings and things like that.
Oh, I think it's certainly a really good introduction to him, without it being overwhelming. Because I think there's so many good Batman books. Any fan could really start anywhere, I feel like, even if you're new to it. But especially because there's so many movies, so a lot of people do know about Batman.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was a really great intro for that. Honestly, I think anybody could read it. Anybody could pick it up. It's really easy to read. The art's really nice. And I don't know if I could say that for everything back during that time period too, where I think they're all really good, but I don't think like every new person could handle all
Were
of
you
that.
two were you two ever bored when reading this?
No.
Mm-mm. Not really.
Okay. I'm curious because it is a different. I mean,
Well, yeah, it didn't have the back, like, it's not, when we read Planet Hulk, how there's just like cliffhangers and, different big
the,
battles and stuff
right.
like that.
The style of writing comic books was different.
Yes.
Yeah, it almost
It
feels
was
like
very
you
much
could
like a
make an indie
story.
movie of this.
Yeah.
Curtis Mensfor saying that Stephanie Brown fan, and he loves Brian Q. Miller's run. And yes, and that run is now reprinted in one huge trade paperback, I think, because the three smaller trade paperbacks were out of print for years. And
Like
I love
Stephanie Brown, the
Spoiler.
Robin slash Batgirl slash spoiler.
Yes, so
I haven't read any of her. I'd love to. I've only
she
seen
became
snippets.
Batgirl for a little while, right after Cassandra Cain. And I think Cassandra Cain's still my favorite Batgirl. As much as I love Barbara Gordon, I love her as Oracle. But Cassandra Cain is I love that girl. And I'm glad she's still part of the books too, even though she's
Yeah.
orphan now. But Stephanie Brown's run was awesome. And there for a while, DC did do her wrong.
Hmm.
Like they killed the character, and then how when Jason Todd died, he had that whole glass mural made for Jason Todd, his costume, right?
Hmm.
Hmm.
So when Stephanie Brown died, like there was nothing. Like they didn't even talk about her. Like she was almost written out of continuity after Infinite Crisis.
Didn't they even
So
retcon that she was ever Robin or anything like that?
yeah, so fans were pissed. They were like, yeah, and she was one of those examples of women in refrigerators because she was like
Hmm.
almost sexually tortured and things like that by Black Mask. So you had that argument too, like you guys did her fucking wrong. Yes, Orphan is the saddest
Yeah.
superhero name ever. E. Tyler. No,
Well, she's pretty sad too.
Mr. Sensitive from the Ecstatics and X Force.
Mr. Sensitive.
That's
That's
the guy. Oh,
adorable.
I love that character. Oh
That's
god.
so cute.
If you guys have not read Peter Milligan's run on X Force and Ecstatics, it is
No.
awesome. Yeah, the guy
I
plays
haven't.
Russian roulette with himself every day because he feels so much.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, it's dark,
That's intense.
but it's such a fun book though. Um, so what did the rest of you guys think? I'm gonna go through the chat here.
Okay.
But did everybody else like Year One? Was it, or is it one of those books that just was so hyped up for years? Because I think anytime you read comic books, you always meet that person that has read every comic book, and then they're like, "Oh, you got to read Batman Year One."
Right. Oh, Curtis, I really agree. That Detective Comics Rebirth run, it really made me fall in love with the Bat family. It's so good.
Oh yeah, yeah. It even made me like Clayface as a good guy, and I'm
I
like, I don't
love
fucking care about
Clayface.
Clayface. Ah, Dave K say it's no Dark Knight Returns. Oh, okay. So he prefers Dark Knight Returns, which is
Mm.
the last Bruce Wayne. Now there is a movie of Year One because I was just talking to
Yeah, I read about that.
Sharknado and Philip Evans about that. But I'm gonna be honest, I haven't seen any of the movies because I saw The Killing Joke, and that ruined DC Batman movies for me so much that I have not seen Year One, nor have I seen the two-part Dark Knight Returns. So I don't know how good those are. Um,
I haven't
because
either.
I haven't either. Yeah.
because
You've got to
the
watch
Killing.
Batman Harley Quinn though. It's so funny.
Okay. Well, I may watch those because I was watching them up until then. I was watching like the Red Hood stuff. I was watching the Damien stuff. So I thought they were pretty good. But yeah, when they threw in the Batman the Killing Joke and they changed something in that story that made absolutely no fucking sense, and it just pissed me off so much. I was,
Oh yeah.
I'm done. They can have their fun, but I'm out. That's not my Killing Joke. That didn't make any sense at all. And I don't want to ruin it for anybody that hasn't seen it or
Yeah,
read.
I've read it, but I haven't seen the movie.
Yeah,
I
they had,
mean, because I've read it, I don't feel like I need to see the movie
Probably not.
because some of those are just retellings, so
yeah, and
I can
it,
go either way.
it practically is a retelling. It's just they added something stupid. Yes, fuck yes, Philip Evans, Batman: Mask of the Phantasm is the best DC animated movie ever. You are
The
correct
Phantasm.
because that soundtrack alone is so amazing. Ah, oh wait, now
I'll
Curtis is
check it
saying
out.
Under the Red Hood is the best animated Batman film. Oh, so Dark Knight Returns was strong. Okay. There's a bunch of Justice League centric ones on Hulu right now. One of my favorite Justice League stories, I did see that one. It's a Tower of Babel, but the animated series, the animated version of it is called Doom, and
Oh yeah, I've seen that one. It's good.
it's written by Dwayne McDuffie. He actually that was the last thing he wrote before he passed away. Um, yes, the music is so God. Philip Evans, not so good, so God. You
So
said it, my
God.
friend. Yeah, oh my God, the music in Mask of the I remember I took a date to go see Mask of the Phantasm when we were in high school, and she was not in the comic books. She was not into animated movies, but I didn't give a shit. I knew I wasn't gonna get any game anyway because I'm like, I'm just gonna go fucking watch Mask of the Phantasm, and you're gonna go with me. Sub-Zero was good too, and so was the Batman. What was the Return of the Joker? The Batman Forever. That movie was awesome too. Now we're talking about the movies. I get changing things for live action movies, but for animated movies, they
I
should
mean,
be
I love I don't care what anybody says. I love those not old, I guess, but those
easy.
90s Batman movies.
Are you talking about the
Wait, the live action
Val
movie?
Kilmer?
Yes.
Which one are we talking
Oh, Maddie.
Whoa.
about? Wait.
Yeah, your cat does not agree with you. Those movies were
Sorry,
pretty
there was somebody
Yeah.
comes in the dog bites. I like them, but I was a kid.
Which one? Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I don't care.
All of them.
I don't care. I love them, and it's the reason why "Kiss from a Rose" by Seal is like
Oh,
my favorite
well,
song because it's
it's
on the
true.
soundtrack.
Oh man, you just lost all credibility.
I don't care.
Everything smart you said.
I can like bad stuff too. Doesn't make.
I'm kidding.
I
yeah.
know it's bad.
Bat,
doesn't mean it's
bat
not
nipples
fun.
and all, like bat nipples and all.
Yeah, it's just
Oh.
fun. It's
No.
dumb.
That card?
I have never seen the fourth movie.
Oh,
with
you don't
Arnold.
need to see that.
Well, no. I think I was just at that age that I was out of high school, and I'm like, I'm done with the Batman shit. That third movie was so horrible. Elliot says George Clooney is the best Batman. What the fuck? That's what I haven't seen.
Wow.
Bat card. I remember
That card, yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I remember.
the last
And
one.
the
I saw
guy
was, which one was the one? Yeah. It was the one with Jim Carrey and oh my God, Tommy Lee Jones with that horrible Two-Face. That's the one I saw. That one's called Batman Forever, right? Or is it called
Yeah.
Batman?
I can't
and Robin?
remember.
Like the Tim Burton movies were good, like the
With Michael
Batman,
Keaton.
Batman
Mhm.
Returns. Yeah.
Mhm.
What? It was a really odd choice to cast Michael Keaton as a serious character too.
Yeah, but he kills it.
No, welcome to the party, Mr. Boy. You're not late.
Am I late?
Now Elliot is quoting the movie. You are not talking. You're not taking me to the cooler.
It's so
Oh, that's-
good.
That's right. I was flipping,
It's so
I was-
good.
flipping through HBO one day, and I heard Arnold deliver the line, "Everybody freeze!" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm not gonna watch that."
If you just take it for what it is, it's really fun.
I think the Honest trailer actually compiles all of the ice jokes that he makes throughout the or puns that he makes throughout the entire movie.
Val Kilmer is Batman. Yeah. E. Tyler saying he liked Val Kilmer as Batman. What is wrong with you guys?
Thanks, guys.
Val Kilmer's not terrible.
Yeah, he's not terrible, but he's also like that movie was just horrible.
I can just say that I would rather watch those than some of the DC movies that are out right now. So
Yeah.
Oh
I
wait,
think, yeah, more than the Green Lantern movie, that's for sure. I'd probably still watch George Clooney.
and we're
Awesome.
getting another one, I
Now-
guess.
now Philip Evans is quoting the movie.
Is he really?
Yes, "Kiss from a Rose" is the only good thing that came out of Batman. I don't even know what the hell that
Thank
song
you, Raymond.
means.
Are you serious? You don't know what it means? Oh, nobody does.
I don't
Doesn't
get
matter.
it.
It's so good.
Kiss on the
Oh, it
Rose
doesn't
from
matter.
the Gray or whatever.
Yeah.
I remember it for Community more because it seemed much more impactful when the dean and what's his name, Jeff, did the never mind, karaoke to it, and that just yeah, that's what me and my husband liked.
Welcome to Near Mint Condition. The
Yeah.
next episode is all about Customer Roads by Seal.
We should rename this
Batman.
episode
Kiss.
Rose. I will watch Val Kilmer's Batman on repeat before I would ever watch Suicide Squad again.
Wow.
Thank you.
And they're still
okay.
doing a Joker movie with him too, so.
Can you believe that? I love it.
And are they still doing
You know what?
Handling Harley Quinn too?
Here's a rule. I just like when it comes to DC movies, they can say all this shit, but unless I see pictures of the actual movie, then I don't. It's not happening. Like there is no. I mean, how many times have I heard about a Batman movie with Ben Affleck, without Ben Affleck directing, Ben Affleck writing it, no Ben Affleck? Like I don't care. Whatever. Just give me a good story. Jeff Johns has stepped down from that part of the DC cinematic universe, so he can focus on comic books again. And I heard he's writing Shazam. I can't believe they can't. It's so crazy to call him Shazam because I mean everybody knows that it's Captain Marvel, and I guess legally they can't call it. They can't print it on the book. So he's gonna be writing Shazam and I think a Green Lantern Corps book maybe.
I heard he's writing the Joker. Like maybe read another Joker book.
Yeah, probably. Bat nipples, Martha over Martha. Yes.
Martha.
Oh man, I agree. Yeah, Kilmer was better than Clooney, but that's because Clooney, he's okay. He said, "Why am I having this?" No, I'm not having this discussion. What did you? Margot Robbie is producing Gotham City Sirens and Suicide Squad 2. As long as David Ayer is nowhere near it, they'll make it work. I've heard about that too. No, Suicide Squad 2, that's a done deal, right? Like they've already filmed it. They've.
I think so. I mean, it made a lot of money, right? Even though it was garbage.
Yeah, I think it made more money than Justice League. I'm pretty sure it did.
Oh, that's so sad.
Right.
That's so sad. Oh, Jason Fabok. I love that guy to do a comic book on 3 Jokers. 3 Jokers.
Oh, yeah, that looks cool.
Okay, I'm down with that. And the biggest news today, Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Yeah.
Fuck yes.
It took up 30 minutes of the conference. I'm so glad that I took my lunch break for that.
You better not be eye-rolling no fucking Smash Brothers Ultimate.
No, I want to play it. I just
hell yeah, because all 70
half an hour?
That's awesome.
It's the only Final Fantasy Final Fantasy 7 footage we got.
Nobody needs a remake of that shitty game. There, I said it.
Omar. You're lucky this is a comic-related a comic-related video.
Smash Brothers is where it's at. I don't give a shit if it's not a fighting game. I just want to play the shit out of Pichu against, like, who the fuck's in it? Like, Bulbasaur and all those guys are back.
Yeah.
Oh boy, it's going to be exciting.
70 characters!
I see a lot of knights.
All right, for Jelly has the best comment. What the fuck is Smash Brothers? Sorry, we got sidetracked. We were talking about Batman Year 1.
Batman Year 1.
Okay.
And then from there, go to Long Halloween, skip Year 2. But I would so read Year 2 because it's so fucking good. I don't give a shit what anybody says.
I do want to read more Batman.
Dark
I
Victory.
I haven't read enough. I've read a lot of like Bat Family related things. So a lot of like Red Hood related, a lot of Nightwing, because of all the team ups and stuff. And a lot of Batgirl because I love Barbara. But I haven't really read a lot of Batman yet except for some Rebirth stuff.
Oh, Ray, don't remind us. Fucking Suicide Squad won an Oscar. I forgot about that. Now they can say Oscar winner Suicide Squad. That's crazy.
Elliot says more Jason Todd.
Yeah, really? So Jason Todd, and I know there are a couple people in the chat right now. Do you guys want your 75 cents back when DC brought back Jason Todd? Who's your favorite Robin? That's a good question. Ooh. I'll let you ladies answer first.
I don't know. You can just skip me. I don't have
Amanda's new.
I've never read
more.
That's not a good one for me.
Amanda still has virgin eyes for Batman. What about you, Maddie?
Very much so.
Favorite Robin. Okay, so favorite Robin as a Robin or favorite Robin as a character?
I don't
What's the
understand that
question? What's
question.
Well, because like what? Because
There's
you
only
had
one
the
right. There's
question.
only one right answer. There's only one right answer.
There's only one right answer.
apparently
Is
it's in
that
the
Dick
chat
Grayson?
already.
I'm just saying. I know mine.
I don't know. I love
Don't
because
look at the chat until you answer, Maddie. I want to see what you say.
Yeah.
they're all so unique and different, and I like everything about their differences. I guess if I had to say my favorite Robin, not like what their other roles, my favorite person as Robin, I think it'd
Okay.
be Tim Drake.
Yes.
No,
Good
that's
answer.
what everyone else
That's
said.
the no. That
Yeah.
is the answer. That's the
I didn't
answer.
even look at it because I love everybody else in other roles. Like I'd
Yeah.
rather Dick Grayson
Dick
be
Grayson's
Nightwing.
Nightwing.
Jason Todd needs to be Red Hood. Damien's a little shit.
Yeah, and I'm okay with
I
him.
love him, but I love him as like a team or with other people, not by himself.
I mean, and I liked like the character of. I like Stephanie Brown as Robin too, even though she was kind of screwed out of that role.
Mhm.
And I liked what was it? Carrie Kelly. Carrie Kelly as
Yeah.
Robin. Um, but I thought that as far as Robin, like the only guy I thought would be really good at as far as like taking over Batman eventually would be Tim Drake because he's smart enough. I mean, the guy figured out who the fuck Batman was. Lonely Place of Dying is one of the best stories of one of my favorite Batman stories, and that's after Jason Todd dies. Like Tim Drake makes a pact with himself to be like, nah, fuck that. Batman always needs a Robin. I'm gonna reunite Dick Grayson and because he figured out that Dick Grayson was Robin and that Bruce Wayne was Batman, and he's like, I'm gonna get these two motherfuckers together, and it's gonna happen, and it didn't. But out of that, we got the greatest Robin ever, Tim Drake. Ray says Dick Grayson. The best thing Jason Todd did as Robin was die. That was Clark Nano, and that might be the best comment tonight.
I mean, I never even read him as Robin, so I don't know anything. He's great as Red Hood. He should
No,
say it that way.
I don't think anybody really liked him as Robin. He was a little shit too, and he didn't listen. So his death was really rough, though. Like, not only does like Joker beat the shit out of him with, a crowbar, but just to see. Okay, so Amanda doesn't know this, but back in 1988, people did not like Jason Todd as Robin. He was the second Robin. So much so that DC had a number that you could call. It was a 900 number back then. Maddie, 900 numbers cost money.
Oh, they did.
I don't know if
I
you knew
know
that
how
or not.
that works.
Okay.
I know that works.
I don't remember. I don't know if you knew or not. So, fans voted to keep him alive or die. So there was a storyline called God damn it! What's it called? Funeral for a Friend?
Oh,
Not Funeral for a Friend.
No, it's Death of the
Death in the Family.
Death in the Family, because Death of the Family. So yeah.
Yeah. So there was a storyline called Death in the Family, and where part 4 of the final part, like, you can keep Robin alive or you could kill him. You called the 900 number to vote, and I think only 2 people voted for Jason Todd to live. And
Wow.
you paid 75 cents to vote, and Jim Aparo drew it, and he died. Like, the Joker beat the shit out of him with a crowbar. He was trying. It was so sweet. He was trying to rescue his mom that he just found out, even though she was a bitch. And they got tied. Like, she was tied up. He got the shit beat out of him. There's a bomb going off. He got to the door, and he's like, the door won't open. Wonderful, beautiful scene. And Batman gets to him too late. And I'm sorry, he dies in part 3. The aftermath is in part 4. So yes.
It was really good. I mean, I didn't read the
All
story.
right, for Jelly, I was just kidding. I know that the vote was not even. It wasn't like 2 to 1 million. It was very close. He's right. I know that when they brought Jason Todd back, a lot of people were calling DC and be like, "Hey, where's my 75 cents, asshole?" Plus interest.
I'm glad they did though, because he's a really interesting character now. I feel like he has a lot going for him. I don't know. I like how they revisit that story of his death too, and how they add a little more Joker involvement to the whole whole life, basically.
To me, his return was one of the the best. I know it's retconning, right? Because you're bringing back a character. He's for Jelly's challenging my nerd cred. Oh boy, you win. It's okay, man. To me, like, retconning is, if it's done right, it can be wonderful. Like in the case of Hal Jordan and Green Lantern Rebirth. and then it can be done really shitty. Whenever you bring back a character and the explanation is like, "Oh, he got better," that I automatically cringe at that. I hate that shit. But they not only tied it into like Raja Ghul, they also tied in the return to Infinite Crisis as like being part of what Superboy Prime was doing. And when you all get to read Infinite Crisis, when you get there, you'll see what I'm talking about. So I thought that was really cool how they brought him back. But I love him as Red Hood. I love him as Red Hood because there's this whole evolution of how he came back, right? Like we were teased a little bit during the Hush storyline, which was written by Jeff Loeb, that Hush was actually Jason Todd, that he'd come back from the dead, but it turned out to be Clayface. But then that was retconned just a few years later by the Red Hood storyline when he was like, no, that was really me. It wasn't Clayface. And I thought that was really great. I loved it. I can't wait for y'all to read all this stuff because this stuff is awesome. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, when do we start an Infinite Crisis or Crisis on Infinite Earth? Which one do we?
I think we should read Crisis on Infinite Earths first, and that can be a summer reading. As far as the next reading assignment, I think we have decided to go with Marvels, Kurt Busiek's Marvels, because it's a 4-issue. Because we're going to take a 2-week break because I will be out of the country. So for next Tuesday, we're going to read Marvels, and I think while I am gone,
we're reading All-Star
Superman.
All-Star Superman is what we're going to read. So the Tuesday I get back, we read it, and then you guys can go ahead and just read Crisis on Infinite Earths while I'm gone, and then you can be like, oh man, I'm ready for this.
Then we can start right after All-Star Superman.
Yeah, Kurt Busiek's Marvels is just one of those stories to me that is just, I really love what he did, like how he was able to go from everything from Marvel's Golden Age until like the Silver Age stuff. Like, I mean, he goes all the way from the original Invaders, like the original Human Torch, not Johnny Storm Human Torch, but the Android Human Torch. I thought that was really good. Read whatever you need to read so you can read 52 Pickup.
Elliot wants us to read Booster
Oh my gosh,
Gold
it's going to
so
take
bad.
Oh, Booster Gold? Like
it's killing him. He wants us to read it so bad. So we gotta read Infinite Crisis, right? All that stuff. Or Crisis on Infinite Earth.
Curtis, I'm so jealous of your Platinum Edition. I was debating it, but that's just one of those other stories that's like, do I really want to pay that much for 4 issues and like 2 or 3 extra pages of the Zero issue? Yeah, Kingdom Come will come, Mr. Boy. That's a good one too. But I figured like get these ladies caught up with some DC stuff so they will appreciate something like Kingdom Come a lot more later.
Yeah.
Let's see. I wasn't a DC fan, so I missed some stuff, but I love Barry Allen and Supergirl. Oh, in Crisis on Infinite Earths, man, you must have hated those issues then.
Wait, were they? Are you saying you love them separately, or were they a thing?
Oh, he may wait.
No, I think he liked them separately.
Separately,
Okay.
He just likes their stuff.
I was
Okay.
like, I've never seen them as a thing before.
Quit shipping characters, Maddie.
Hey, I only like the canon ones, okay?
Sure.
Donna Troy and Roy Harper.
Ted Cord and Booster Gold. You know that's a thing.
I'm sure.
Let's see. So yes, Marvels, and then so that will be next Tuesday at 8 o'clock, and then when I come back on, Elliot said he'd ship it on the July 3rd. We'll be discussing All-Star Superman.
Oh, July 3rd is my birthday.
Hey.
Hey, well maybe not July 3rd then. We can do it.
Oh, we can do it then. It's fine. I loved All-Star Superman, so.
Okay, cool. Then we can discuss it then. Happy birthday and all that. Speaking on birthdays, you should totally buy yourself Infinite Crisis Omnibus. Just
Yeah, it came out this week, right?
Yeah, and it's half price
it.
on trades. Yeah. Tyler, I'm gonna go to Spain and France. My wife made the executive decision to say, "Fuck it, let's go," because I unfortunately lost my job a couple weeks ago, and it's kind of. But we had already paid for the tickets in the hotel, so I was like, "Do I want to be responsible and stay, or fuck it, let's just go."
Good for you.
That's fair.
Philip Evans, that was me. That was my story. I did not. Okay, so I'm gonna tell the story again. Thank you for bringing that up. That was about I say almost Jesus Christ, 18, 20 years ago, I was at a convention and I was looking through some comic books, and this guy came around me and was like, "Hey, do you mind if I look through these comic books?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, go ahead." And I started talking to him about comic books. You guys know me; I start talking to anybody.
Yeah.
So he's like, "I'm like, oh God, have you read I couldn't even remember the name of the story. I'm like, have you read Kingdom Come? Man, it's so fucking badass. Like these DC superheroes is in the future." And he's like, "Oh yeah." And the thing was, he let me tell him. And then it turned out to be Mark Waid that I was talking to because I didn't see his badge. He had like a guest badge, and it said Mark Waid, and I'm like, and he's like, "Hi, I'm Mark Waid," and I'm like, "Oh my God, you wrote Kingdom Come!" Like, yeah, man. Thanks, E. Tyler, and thanks, Philip. Thank you guys. All-Star Superman, Fart Cloud Superman. That is correct, Elliot. That is chubby Superman sitting on a cloud, but he's so cute and awesome. All-Star's great. I haven't read it in quite a while, so I'm excited to read that. But before that, Marvels, only 4 issues. Mr. Boy, ever read Earth X? Yes, but I never read Paradise X. I think that's the follow-up to that, which is... I think it's all going to be collected in 2 omnis coming out later this year. For Jelly saying Wade might be the smartest guy in comics IQ-wise. I can kind of see that. For some reason, I always see him and Peter David, maybe Kurt Busiek, as like IQ-wise, probably as smartest. I can see that.
Gabriel said it'd be fun to see mine and Amanda's perspective on Why the Last Man. We've actually talked about.
I
We have
suggest
talked about that because we have it.
Yeah.
I suggested that, but I think they wanted something shorter because Amanda's doing a. What are you doing, Amanda?
My master's, my MBA capstone course in the next 10 weeks. Is that what you're talking about? Or
Yes,
my fan
yes.
fiction? Okay,
No,
both. I don't know.
When do we get to read Amanda's fan fiction?
You are more. It's on Archive of Our Own. All you have to do is just go to my link on my Instagram, and you can read my fan fiction. But
it's mainly about Spider-Man, right? Is that what you're working on now?
Yeah, it is.
Well, now you can work one about Batman and Sarah Essen.
I'll really break
all
out.
these new
Yeah.
characters you learned about. So apparently, Wade minored in physics. I did not know that.
Wow.
Oh, cool.
And Curtis is a physicist, so I can see the use of physics. Oh, that's why he's so good at writing about matter breaking down and shit and doing his flash run. I thought it was just comic book science. Maybe he's using science. Oh, he also has an encyclopedic knowledge of comics. He will take on the entire audience at a con and win. That's awesome. I would love that. I would love to see that.
That would be really cool.
I kind of feel that, and maybe that's why I think that Peter David and Kurt Busiek are like that, because it seems to me that when they write a character, it almost feels like they created the character. It never feels like somebody new taking on a comic book. Like, I always have this fear of somebody crappy taking on one of my favorite characters, which happens all the time now. And with those guys coming on board, I get so excited. They're the few guys that are like Mark Waid, Kurt Busiek, and Peter David. When they come on like a book that I'm already invested in, and they come as the writer, I'm like, oh yes, these guys know this character. And I don't even know if they do or not, but they fucking write like they do. And there's few writers that can do that. Okay, so he is saying David and Busiek are up there, but wait, I love to see a challenge between him and Busiek, especially on Avengers, because Busiek, oh my god, that guy is a walking encyclopedia of Avengers. So yeah, if there's any more questions, we'll be on for about 5 to 10 more minutes. So any questions for the ladies, not for me, because I don't matter.
Oh no, that's not true.
That's not true.
That's what I wanted to hear. Pity. Yes, so if there's any questions, you can direct them at Amanda and Maddie, and I'll let them answer. Unlike last time, I think I started answering some questions because I felt left out. Nobody was asking me anything.
No. Dave K asked, have they read Morrison Batman ever? I don't even know what that is.
Neither do I.
Okay, so Grant Morrison is a comic book writer, and he wrote All-Star Superman, and he wrote he wrote a big run on Batman, and Rest in Peace and Final Crisis.
Mm-hmm.
I like E. Tyler's remark that he's an iPhone or smartphone that could beat all.
Why does that remind me of you, Amanda?
Because I am fast on the search uptick.
I love taking. I have gone to trivia with both of these ladies and won twice. DC trivia, we kicked ass, me
That's
and
right.
Maddie.
Lexington Luthers.
Yes.
That's
What
a
a
great
shitty
name.
name.
It
Not
was
so
great.
much. What was the best name was like what was it? Batman in the Sheets and Bruce Wayne and
The
oh
streets. I
in the
feel like
street.
that's what it was.
That's what it was. It was Bruce Wayne in the Streets and Batman in the Sheets. That
Oh,
was the
that's a good one.
best name.
Yeah, we won
Hey,
by a lot.
Jimmy, thank you for joining us, Jimmy. How's it going, buddy? Yeah, we kicked their ass. Especially, so the last question was like, name all these crossovers in chronological order, and I was like, I got this shit. We're gonna bid all the points for this.
It was good.
Oh, welcome, Oblivion. This is his first live stream with us. Thank you for
Hey.
joining us.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Philip says that you matter, but not as much as me and Amanda.
Yeah,
like that.
I ignored that comment, so I didn't read it.
Thanks, Philip.
Jimmy, you're doing good, buddy. So for Jelly, I agree with that. Morrison can be a bit like that, but I think when he's given, because I guess they're used to giving him free reign because of his stuff he did with like Animal Man and Doom Patrol. But when he's writing a character like Batman, I don't know. That stuff got kind of confusing to me. Almost like maybe I thought I was too stupid to read it, even though I won't admit that. Like during the Rest in Peace thing, well, I appreciated a lot of the things that he introduced, but I'm like, I am not getting this. Shit, who compromised the original Firestorm? Shut up, Elliot.
It was.
Thank you for Jelly.
Oh gosh, what Ronnie Raymond and what's the other guy's name?
I don't know. I left that one to you. I couldn't remember Firestorm's people.
I already forgot. Oh,
We suck. So Oblivion says he's just getting into Batman. Just finished Snyder's run, and wow, yes,
yeah.
Snyder run is awesome. I feel like the old runs are a little outdated, or is it just me? Robbie Ray, thank you, sir, Robbie Ray, and that's what we were just talking about. I mean, if you feel like they're outdated, check out Batman Year One because it doesn't. To me, I think it's a timeless story. I don't think it's outdated. The dialogue is solid. It could be, like I said, it could have been something that somebody wrote just yesterday. And then check out the. Let me see. Lonely Place of Dying is good, and The Death in the Family is solid too. Those are kind of written around the same time, 88, 89. And then the 90s brought us Nightfall, but No Man's Land is good. I still recommend No Man's Land. I love that story. Martin Stein, that was his name. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, from from the Flash,
Yeah.
the TV
Okay.
show. Now I know that. Yeah.
So, Oblivion, Nightfall is just one of those stories that maybe you had to live it to appreciate it. Because we all just fell in love with Azrael. Not the character, John Paul Valley, but Azrael. Because his costume was so badass. But it's such a 90s story.
Wait, which one was that with Azrael?
Nightfall.
Nightfall. Because
Yeah.
he comes back, right?
Yeah, he's back. He's back
there
in
right now?
Detective. He's in the Detective Comics now. They killed him off for a while, but then they brought him back. Yeah, it's kind of a hard read, but I agree with Forgelli. Cataclysm leading up to No Man's Land. I love Legacy too. Contagion and Legacy, The Return of Ra's al Ghul. They're fucking awesome. So much better than. And I don't get it, like because DC just seems to be keeping those books in print of Nightfall. Like there are so many different printings. There's Omnis. There's trade paperbacks. There's other set of trade paperbacks. They have an anniversary edition trade paperback coming out. I guess it sells. I don't know, because I think there's a lot of other stories that deserve this treatment more than those. It's not the best. It's kind of like Spider-Man's Clone Saga. E. Tyler, you're right. If you live through it, you can still look back with fondness, but they ain't great. No, they're really not. You're right. Raymond's asking if any of us have seen Gotham Knights.
No, I don't think so.
Is that the
No.
Gotham by Gaslight storyline by Mike Mignola? Ray? Yes.
I've seen that one.
That one I've seen, the Gotham by
I liked that a
Gaslight.
lot.
That was awesome.
But I like a lot of those like Elseworlds storylines.
Nightfall is a fun read. I don't know what people are talking about. See? There we go. Maybe if you don't take it serious. I think maybe it was Night Quest that a lot of people pushed themselves through. But no, the Nightfall storyline itself was pretty good. Yes, I did a readathon of my chronological order Batman books, and Batman, Bruce Wayne, Murder, and Fugitive had me hooked, especially the Greg Rucka stuff. Clone Saga was right at the end of my reading. I'm not a fan, and that makes sense. Yes, Jeff Johns' Aquaman is solid.
Yeah, I've got that up here, but I haven't read it yet. I've heard really good things.
Yeah, it's good. I aspire to have a collection like you guys one day. Oh, thanks, Oblivion.
I think you mean Omar.
Yeah.
Oh, you got stuff back there. Look at this. You know what?
Baby
I'm
does.
gonna take a snap picture of this of your collection now and compare it to like maybe I'll give it about 4 months and then we'll look at it and you're gonna be like, I need more fucking shelves, Omar. What am I gonna do?
Wait till Friday when I order a bunch more.
Oh, that's right. She said she'd wait till Friday.
Yeah,
Like I
said, I haven't bought any new books.
In Stock Trades
Like,
has that Infinite
3 or 4
Crisis
weeks.
omnibus, and we gotta read it eventually, Maddie. I'm just saying.
So Friday's my big order day. I've got to catch up on Rebirth stuff. So
Yeah, but before you enjoy Rebirth, you gotta read Infinite Crisis. And that book was at one time going for $500 on eBay. Just saying.
dang.
Hickman Avengers all the way, Godspeed. But that's just me. I'm not a huge fan of Bendis. But I think one of the books somebody suggested reading was Avengers Disassemble for us, so we'll get to that.
Yeah.
I'd love to know what you two think of that book eventually.
I haven't touched enough Marvel stuff. I know Amanda has.
Yeah,
so.
well, I agree. I loved Hickman's Avengers too. So yeah.
Do I have any rares? Any rares? Let's see. Yeah, I've got some like Colossal Conan, Big Damn Big City, Annihilation Omnibus, Strangers in Paradise Omnibus. I've got some. Like
Annihilation.
Oh, you know I mean, it's one of the few titles that they have not reprinted. You know, it's coming back. People just get. You need to get the rest of them before they go out of print. Jimmy Owens loved Disassemble. I remember that. Gotham Knights was the anime anthology stories, sort of like the Animatrix.
What?
That's right. Yeah, it was one of the earlier ones they did. I haven't seen it yet, Ray. I actually ordered Batman the Cult. I'm very excited to have that come. The art is so strange. Yes, Batman the Cult was awesome.
Oh, Curse asked favorite Rebirth series.
I'll let you two. Well, I'll let Maddie answer. Amanda's still.
That's hard. They're all so good. Probably Super Sons.
Good choice. I would go with either Superman or Wonder Woman. Greg Rucka.
Yeah, Wonder Woman's been really good too. But I mean, she's always my number one girl. So
Tom King's Batman grew on me quick too, though. That's a good book. So it's Detective. Fuck, there's so many good ones. I'm gonna stick with my what I said. What did I say?
Wonder Woman, didn't you?
Superman and
Wonder Woman. There's a lot of good Rebirth though. It's really hard to choose. There's just a lot of good ones.
Dave K, I can see Marvel doing some classic Conan omnis. Now, I think Dark Horse announced 2 more omnis, the King Conan and the Sumerian Conan. So maybe we'll get a reprint of this, of the Colossal Conan. Colossal Conan is huge too, and honestly, Maddie, for as much as you pay for Infinite Crisis, it is a huge book. Like 1,500 pages, maybe, if that.
Yeah.
Like it will be the biggest book that will be on your shelf, and it's totally worth it. I have not led you through a wrong path yet.
Okay. I might do it then.
Geo, my buddy Geo's in the chat. No, I haven't seen it. We were just talking about that. If we've seen any of the movies, I haven't seen it because I hated what was it? The Joker, The Killing Joke so much. The movie.
Can you watch on any of the streaming platforms, or do you have to?
I thought it was on Amazon. HBO.
HBO.
I thought it was on HBO.
She said Amazon Prime.
Yeah, that's where I usually watch my animated ones. Though I know they put some on Hulu recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But honestly, a lot of them you can get for really cheap at Walmart now, and like in sets of movies. So we've just started picking them up.
That's smart, yeah, because no one's buying DVDs as much anymore. So.
Just me.
Gabriel, did you like the Killing Joke Batman movie? That's what I was talking about. The Killing Joke itself, I love, but the movie I did not like, and I'll tell you why I didn't like it. But I just didn't know if nobody.
Oh,
if anybody cares about spoilers. But if that's what you're talking about, let me know. And there was a question for you two in there. Oblivion's asking. I don't know if you guys have answered this already, but when did you guys start really getting into comics? I will let you two answer that first.
Well, we might run out of time.
oh well. For me, it's only been what, maybe maybe 5 months that I really started getting into them. Omar has, Omar and I are family, and he's been talking about comics for years, but it's really just been recently that I've started getting into it, and now I understand why. Omar likes comics so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not
Um,
just the crazy loon talking about fun
yeah.
books.
I've always been more of a fantasy person. So big old long novels like Lord of the Rings, that's always did it for me. So this is a new entry.
Yeah, I got in after Wonder Woman and Guardians of the Galaxy 2, those two movies. So I watched them, had a lot of questions, fell in love with some characters, watched a bunch of YouTube videos, and then went to my friend Omar and was like, all right, fine. Where do I go?
I'm like a drug dealer. I'll give them like a little bit, and then like the next one, you got to buy yourself from in stock trade, so you're on your own. And I have been reading comics for 35 years now, and it's I have met some amazing people through this hobby, and some of my best friends. I I took a break for a long time because comics piss me off, just like they piss off most kids, and I found other hobbies like cars, women, alcohol, but um, I always come back. And it's nice. It's nice because it feels like I never left. And going back to reading X, it's crazy because when I was a kid, I would look at some of these characters and be like, Jesus Christ, these 30-year-old kids or these 30-year-old guys are so old. And now I'm older than most of these characters. It's almost sad. Omar's 29. Thank you, Elliot. Yes, I still act like I'm 15 though.
Oh, Raymond, I answered in the chat, but I haven't read that Wonder Woman you recommended.
It's not collected in the Greg Rucka book, Volume 1. I thought that was collected in Volume 1.
Oh,
It's the Batman Wonder Woman story.
yes. Never mind. No, yes, I've read it. Yeah, I love that run. I love Rucka's Wonder Woman. I think it's my favorite Wonder Woman. It's so good.
I am 33 and 29.
I thought you. Wow.
Yes, thank you. So this was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will be back next week, next Tuesday. We will be talking about this wonderful book right here. Kurt Busiek's Marvels and Alex Ross, this beautiful painted artwork. And I read it when this book first came out. So that was probably 10 to 15 years ago. And these ladies have never read it, so I'm curious to know what they think about it.
Looking forward to
So thank you, everybody, for joining us and all the questions. And would you two like to sign us off?
Yeah.
Maddie,
Thanks,
why don't you-
guys.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye, kitty.